1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan, the news read by Muhammad Zubair Khan. First, the headlines. Federal Cabinet has decided not to allow Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf to spread chaos and violence in the name of so-called Long March. Information Minister says writ of the state will be upheld and armed gangs cannot be allowed to harm lives and properties of the people. Minister for Planning and Development has emphasized the need for continuity of policies to ensure development in the country. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, complete strike was observed today in several areas against the conviction of Hurriyat leader Yasin Malik by an Indian kangaroo court. In India, 24 people have been killed due to severe flooding in the state of Assam. Pakistan women team won the first T20 cricket match against Sri Lanka by 6 wickets in Karachi today. And now the news in detail. The Federal Cabinet has decided that PTI will not be allowed to spread chaos, violence and anarchy by besieging the country's capital in the name of so-called Long March. This was announced by Interior Minister Rana Sanaullah while briefing media about the decisions taken in the Federal Cabinet chaired by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in Islamabad today. He was joined by representatives of the allied parties in the government. The Interior Minister said PTI's proposed Long March has nothing to do with the democratic norms, as these people are hell-bent to create uncertainty and spread anarchy in the country. Reminding PTI's previous sit-in in 2014, the Interior Minister said these are the people who had besieged the Prime Minister House, provoked people to start civil disobedience in the country. He said PTI Chief Imran Khan is working to divide and mislead the nation and the government will not allow him to promote this agenda. Rana Sanaullah said the entire leadership of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf is present in Peshawar, from where it is planning to invade the federal capital by utilizing forces and resources of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. He warned the people who have become hypnotized by Imran Khan's politics of hatred and divide to come out of this illusion and stay away from these things. The Interior Minister said maintaining law and order and ensuring security and protection of people's lives, businesses and properties is the top priority of the government, and nobody or group will be allowed to harm them. He urged all the institutions, political parties and the media to play their role to prevent this attempt of creating disorder. The Interior Minister said the government respects the right of expression and staging a peaceful democratic protest, but nobody can be allowed to stage a bloody march. Speaking on the occasion, Minister for Communication Maulana Asad Mahmood said PTI's Long March is aimed at ruining the country's politics and the economy. He said a violent march will not be allowed. Qamar Zaman Kaira of Pakistan People's Party said that the decision to not allowing violent protest has been taken unanimously. Minister for Information and Broadcasting Maryam Aurangzeb has said that the writ of the state will be upheld and armed gangs cannot be allowed to harm lives and properties of the people. Talking to media in Islamabad this afternoon, she said the government is trying to stabilize the economy and provide relief to the people, while on the other hand, the fascist mindset of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf is aimed at disrupting businesses and country's economy. The minister said PTI is inciting violence, which is not acceptable in a civilized society. She urged media to play its due role, enabling people to distinguish between inciting violence and the freedom of expression. Maryam Aurangzeb said they resorted to violence in spite of their promise to remain peaceful during the infamous Long March in 2014. Law Minister Azam Nazir Tarar has said the law enforcement agencies will ensure protection of the residents of Islamabad as per provisions of the law, and fascist gangs will not be allowed to invade the federal capital. Responding to Leader of the Opposition Dr. Shehzad Wasim's objections, he said that mature and democratic leadership of the entire Pakistan is now representing the federal government. He said these are the pro-democratic people and believe in upholding the law and the constitution. He said law and order will be ensured according to the rules and procedures and the constitution. Planning Minister Ahsan Iqbal says Pakistan is blessed with the best human and natural resources that need to be utilized. Addressing the convocation of Pakistan Institute of Development Economics in Islamabad today, he said the institute has produced a vibrant human resource that is well equipped to tackle the future challenges. He said Pakistan needs economic experts who understand the development economy. The minister emphasized the need for continuity of policies to ensure development in the country. British Minister for the Armed Forces James Stephen Heapy, along with a delegation, called on Secretary Defence Lieutenant General retired Mian Mohammad Hilal Hussain in Rawalpindi today. During the meeting, both sides discussed matters relating to bilateral defence collaborations and agreed to work closely in all domains of mutual interest. They also agreed to enhance interaction at all levels. Speaking on the occasion, the Secretary Defence said Pakistan highly values its bilateral relationship with the United Kingdom. He said Pakistan is committed to maintaining global peace and security and has also played an active role over the last 2 decades in this regard. The Secretary Defence said Pakistan desires to improve its trade linkages with the world. The visiting dignitary appreciated Pakistan's efforts for peace and its role in war against terrorism. This is Radio Pakistan. Minister for Foreign Affairs Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has strongly condemned the fallacious conviction of Kashmiri Hurriyat leader Yasin Malik by Indian court on fabricated charges. In a statement, he said Yasin Malik is the most prominent and respected voice among Hurriyat leaders in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and his firm resolve against decades of Indian oppression cannot be shaken by such travesties of justice. Demanding acquittal of Yasin Malik, the foreign minister said fabricated charges against him must be dropped and he be released forthwith and allowed to reunite with his family. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, strike was observed in several areas today against the conviction of Hurriyat leader Muhammad Yasin Malik by an Indian kangaroo court in a concocted case despite the Modi regime's stern warning to traders, shopkeepers and transporters against closing the businesses. According to Kashmir Media Service, Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front chairman Muhammad Yasin Malik was convicted by a court of India's notorious National Investigation Agency on Thursday in a politically motivated case filed against him in 2017. Indian police detained dozens of Hurriyat activists including JKLF members in the Kashmir Valley. In Muzaffarabad, an anti-India protest rally was held to condemn JKLF chief's conviction. The interim government in Afghanistan has signed a deal to hand over the country's 4 key airports to a United Arab Emirates company. Under the deal, the control and management of 4 international airports, Kabul, Kandahar, Herat and Mazar-e-Sharif, will be handed over to the UAE Aviation Company. The ceremony was attended by acting Deputy Prime Minister Mullah Abdul Ghani Brother and the Afghan and United Arab Emirates officials. In India, 24 people have been killed and tens of thousands displaced due to severe flooding in the eastern state of Assam. Heavy rains submerged several villages, forcing locals to seek shelter in squalid conditions, sometimes even on roads. Hundreds of rescue camps have been set up to shelter those affected by the floods. Disruption in road and rail transport has made it difficult for aid to reach remote areas of the region. Pakistan won first women T20 cricket match against Sri Lanka by 6th wicket in Karachi today. Batting first, Sri Lanka set a victory target of 107 runs for Pakistan, which Pakistan achieved in 18.2 overs. And finally, the weather report. Mainly hot and dry weather is expected in most areas of the country, while very hot in central and southern areas during next 12 hours. However, rain with thunderstorm is likely in northeast Punjab, Kashmir and its adjoining areas. And now once again the headlines. Federal Cabinet has decided not to allow Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf to spread chaos and violence in the name of so-called Long March. Information Minister says writ of the state will be upheld and armed gangs cannot be allowed to harm lives and properties of the people. Minister for Planning and Development has emphasized the need for continuity of policies to ensure development in the country. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, complete strike was observed today in several areas against the conviction of Hurriyat leader Yasin Malik by an Indian kangaroo court. In India, 24 people have been killed due to severe flooding in the state of Assam. Pakistan women team won the first T20 cricket match against Sri Lanka by 6 wickets in Karachi today. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.in.